Hi, it's Jess. So today something I want to talk about is therapy and getting to know yourself and you know, some and our weaknesses. Like a lot of the times we don't want to display our weaknesses or what we're struggling with to others. And I think that's a major issue with mental health issues is that you know people are struggling on the inside and they're not really telling anybody else about their problems. And I truly believe that you know with suicide prevention, if someone was just there to understand them and to be with them and to hear out their problems and feel like they were understood, like I think that could help. I'm not saying it's the whole solution for suicide prevention, but I think it is something that is very important when you're going through dark times. So, well, I come from an Asian culture, and I think that mental illness almost doesn't exist in Asian culture, and I know that nowadays I think more families are becoming aware and kind of accepting it. And um So therapy, I want to say, is super important. Like I know that people say that therapy isn't needed or it won't help them, or it is weak to go to therapy. But honestly, I think you are strong and courageous for going to therapy because you are getting to know yourself. On my Instagram at a.beautiful.soul.always, I put up a quote of mine where it is one of the the greatest unmentioned fears is facing yourself, looking yourself in the eye and facing yourself, because we have some dark, scary places in our minds and in our hearts that we don't really want to talk about or deal with. Like have I think a lot of people run away from their issues and avoid their issues, like sex, drugs, alcohol, um other things like that, any addictions or anything. uh yeah, so stuff like that. And you're not really dealing with the problem. I also think that's the same with psych- psychiatric meds, where you're not actually dealing with the issue. And look, I really, if you find a good therapist, I've had heard scary things about some really bad therapists. Actually, when I had family therapy with my mom and dad, the therapist would fall asleep while they're talking. Um, and I someone had told me that there's actually a therapist out there that was making, actually, I won't mention that. Um, but it was just so ridiculous. It was ridiculous. Anyway, so I am 24, almost 25, and I've been going to therapy for about almost 7 years now. So it's been a very slow process of getting to know myself. It's crazy. I was 18 and I had this manic episode, and I had no idea what I wanted, what I believed in, what were my passions, what were my strengths, what were my weaknesses. And it was almost like I had been thrown out into the world and I wasn't ready. And it has to do with just the way my parents raised me, very sheltered, and they were loving parents, but it was very, very controlled, very sheltered, very like overprotective, and 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 yeah. So what therapy does, like, you have a therapist, and but sometimes, like, I think most of the time, if you have a good therapist, the therapist lets you figure out your own issues by asking the right questions and guiding you, and the therapist gives you an objective perspective, because sometimes your brain is just like out of hand and you're like not thinking clearly and all these thoughts are going through your head, and a lot of experiences we have are colored by how we view the world, and like it's good to get another perspective and just someone to hear you out and to listen to you in a non-judgmental way is great. I've had a couple great therapists. When I went to Pepperdine University, I had a great therapist. She was amazing. She was really amazing and always supportive. um and a therapist here in New York. Um, I'm still friends with her now. She's awesome, and she helped me get back on my feet when I was depressed to go back to Pepperdine, and I'll be ever grateful for their support and for their help. So it's interesting. I wanna so we see bipolar disorder as this like ailment, like this illness. I started going to a NAMI group, and now they're saying it's a mental health condition, which sounds better than a mental illness because illness has a negative connotation to it. So it's strange. I've been looking up. So it's like you have very strong emotions and you can't control them. That's part of what bipolar disorder is. And the thing is, it's honestly almost beautiful in a way. Like my friend told me, my friend Russell, he was like, it's almost think of it as like an emotional spectrum. Like most people can feel this much emotion, but we're feeling this range of emotion. And honestly, it's almost a beautiful thing. But it's seen as chaotic and chaos, and but it's almost like, wow, I get to experience this elated happiness that most people don't get to experience. And then the depression part is like pretty awful, which I would like not to experience, but it comes with the package. And I was also looking up, like, I don't know, it's like interesting stuff. I was looking up empaths. It's like, wait a second, like an empath is seen as a very positive thing, and it's very similar to bipolar disorder. So what defines an empath and someone with bipolar disorder? Maybe an empath can control it better, So what I wanted to say is that almost like this weakness that I have of having this wide range of emotions, it's almost can be like a strength, to help other people and to understand what they're going through. And I bet a lot of people who have mental illness can say that their illness has helped support other people in their lives, and connect with them. And I believe that's really true. Um, so I just want to say that therapy is you're really getting to know yourself, really digging deep. Honestly, I've come to this point where I'm digging deep, but my therapist isn't providing me what I really need to get further into my brain. So I might have to search for a new therapist. And so I don't think there should be any shame with going to therapy. I think you're honestly trying to get yourself better and improve and be the you really want to be. And I think that's great with therapy. I think there shouldn't be any shame. And in terms of, my nose is always running when for some reason when I make a video. And then in terms of, oh fuck, what was I saying? Fuck. Oh, and then in terms of like this weakness that I have, like bipolar disorder may be stigmatized or may be seen as something is wrong with you 1 week, yet it can also be used as a real strength, if you turn it around. I don't know if any of you believe in God, but one time before I got a fever, like I had a thought in my head that it was like, you need me, you are weak. God was telling me, like, you need me, you are weak. Not an audible voice, just like a thought in my mind. And I looked up verses for weak, and it's like, my grace is made sufficient in your weakness. And I've found that to be very, very true, and almost like what has made me so weak has made me so strong at the same time. It's really a crazy thing. And people think it's like you shouldn't, they don't want to share their weaknesses, or people shouldn't know about it, but I think that's pretty much bullshit. And yeah, so I want you to know, like, if you're struggling with a weakness or with a challenge that you have, like, I want you to know that you can be made strong through that weakness, and through that challenge you will build character. And yeah, that's what I wanted to say. And if you're struggling, I hope that you can reach out and get help, see a therapist, or sometimes friends are even better than therapists, to be honest. So I just, if you've just been diagnosed with a mental health condition, or you're struggling, internally with some thoughts, or some physical symptoms from your thoughts, like, I want you to know that it gets better, it gets easier. I think it gets easier. For me, it's been getting easier. And just find the best ways to cope with it. And I think through these mental health conditions and these illnesses, you get to know more about yourself and who you are and the strength you have within, So I hope this was helpful. So once again, my overall video was saying that it's not shameful, and it's not a problem to go get therapy, because you are working on yourself and improving yourself and getting to know yourself better. And these conditions that you have, whether it's anxiety or depression or schizophrenia or bipolar disorder, like, I want you to know that sometimes it is gonna make you feel so weak that you can't even handle it, and you don't know what to do with yourself. And but when you get through it, you see what a strong person you are. And I hope for this video that you really just see these issues and these problems and the whatever's going on, as a way that will strengthen you and it will test you, and you will form into something new, form into something that you never thought you could be too. And anyway, I hope for healing always and love always. And yeah, if you want to subscribe to my channel, feel free. You don't have to if you want. And have a beautiful day.